What's up, everybody? Hope we're doing well. We got okay, yeah, we're live. Brutal times in the market, right? A little spooky times. Um, I've been mentally prepared for a bear market for a little while now. Um, still cautiously, very cautiously bullish. But there's still hope. There's still hope that this isn't a bear market, but there's also it's not looking incredibly strong, obviously. So let's check out what's going on. So I'll just move this circle over. We're still in the uptrend, which is the last line of defense for me. As many of you know, before we broke the 50 weekly SMA, I was saying that's like the first line for me to become, lean more bearish and stop being, max bullish. And, that happened back in November. We broke below that. And then the absolute last line of defense was the break of this uptrend that we're in, which currently is at $78,000 on a weekly time frame for a close, for that uptrend to be officially broken. So we're getting pretty close to that. We're at 83. It dipped down at the bottom, was at 81. So I mean, we're getting dangerously close. So if you're not mentally prepared for a bear market by now, you probably should be. That's kind of what we'll talk about today. We'll also take some questions and hang out. So what I want to look at is this. So, right, we really want to zoom out, right? A lot of times we get stuck on the short time frames in our mind sometimes. So what we'll do is we'll zoom out to the weekly time frame. So this is Bitcoin going all the way back to the 2017 cycle, and bear market, next cycle, bear market, and then this cycle. And it's kind of formed this pattern here, this channel. Let me just adjust it a little bit. It wasn't perfect. Okay. We form this channel here, and let me just adjust it. I thought I had it perfect before. So if we do go to a bear market, this the bottom of the channel, I was kind of looking at this as a target, start thinking, okay, how deep could this go? It's kind of my thoughts right now. So, I didn't have a channel back here, so I have no way to prove it. And this wasn't by myself. I had help of one of my best friends who's been a full-time TA guy for many years. He literally called the bottom within $10. It was pretty insane to witness. But I also helped him out with, I found this channel, and it ended up working out. So anyways, this channel is, pretty substantial. You can see this cycle, we've ridden that middle trend line as all of the highs, kind of bounced off it there, bounced off it here, has this high. So it's a pretty established channel. So I was thinking, I think the bottom of this would be a good target as far as how deep this could really go, which is around $60,000, 57, high 50s, low 60,000s. But I was like, okay, well, we want to see confluence with multiple things. So what I did was pull Fibonacci's, right? Fibonacci ratios. So if we go last cycle from the bottom to the top, right? So from that previous cycle, the 2018 bottom, all the way to the top, how much did it retrace? It retraced to the 786, right? 78.6% retrace, right? It's not exactly perfect, but you can see that's the level that it ended up bottoming at. So if we go to this cycle and we do the same Fibonacci retrace from absolute bottom to top. Now what we'll see is, I'll zoom in just a little bit. What we'll see is a confluence, right? I always like to see confluence, multiple things lining up. So the bottom of this channel right here around $60,000 lines up with the 618, right? Which is the Fibonacci golden ratio. So last cycle, it went down to the 786. But given that this cycle has less volatility to the upside, right? It didn't go up as much on a percentage basis above the previous high as the last time, right? As assets get more mature, become a little less volatile. So if it's a little less volatile on the upside, it would kind of make sense that it might be, less volatile on the downside as well. So the 618 makes a lot of sense to me. Last cycle was a 786. This cycle would be the 618, which is the golden ratio of the Fibonacci, which lines up with the bottom of that channel around $58,000. Now, also, what's also interesting is if we pull up the 200 weekly moving average, right? You have moving averages, 200 is like the big one. The 200 weekly looks like, by the time we got there, it would also line up with this target around $60,000 by the time we got there. That's where this would be. Currently, it's at 57, but these things are moving averages, so they move. So there's just a lot of confluence with this level, which on a time basis where they all kind of meet is late April, early May, which also kind of lines up historically with when these things bottom. It's a little bit early, but there's a lot of confluence there around that level. So that's, as of now, that's like kind of where I think how deep this could really get. Of course, it could get much worse than that, but I don't know. It's just so far there's a lot of confluence with that level. This asset's pretty mature, so I just don't think it would be as volatile on the downside, given it wasn't as volatile on the upside. And all the fundamental bullishness and it's getting adoption and becoming a more mature asset class. Still extremely volatile, obviously, but not as much as before. So a 618 retrace would make a lot of sense to me. So kind of eyeballing that high 50, low $60,000 range as a potential target on the bearish side. Now, we still haven't broken that uptrend, which is good to see. So we still have higher lows and whatnot. And if we also look at it, we still do have that bullish divergence is still there, where we're making a higher low from the previous low, but the RSI, which is like kind of, you can think of it as the momentum indicator, is making a lower low, right? So it's diverging in a bullish manner. So there's still hope there as far as that goes. Let me I'll keep going. Just want to see what you guys are saying. A lot of you showed up today. Where were you planning to dig deep into DAG? Yeah, 100%. Yeah, DAG got acquired by a company, AI Squared. So it's bullish, but there's also bearish arguments for that. But yeah, we're definitely anything new brewing between SMT v Olympics. Also, the news is insane concerning crypto. How will passage of crypto market structure bill affect market, or will there be a delay still? Yeah, that's one of the things. Like, I've been following the crypto market structure bill, which it's bullish for our bags. Is it bullish for freedom? Probably not, but it's bullish for crypto adoption. But at the pace it's going and all the drama that's going on, it kind of also lines up with kind of this time frame of where I was just talking about 60,000, late April, early May. It just doesn't seem like it's going to happen anytime soon. Like, it's probably going to get pushed back. Like, there's it's pretty far away from happening, according to the narrative that they put out there. So it could be quite a few months until that happens. 2, 3, 4 months, something like that. But yeah, I would imagine it's going to be bullish for crypto for sure. For some cryptos at least. Anything new between SMTV and Olympics? No, not really. I mean, Lucas Fleury, I'll read it to you guys. I don't think I can show you, but I'll read it to you in the Telegram, the Block V Telegram. Somebody posted a picture of the Olympics, the Winter Olympics. He looks like he works there, and he said, "I'm already here." And then somebody said, "Any smart NFTs around?" And then somebody else said, "Lucas Fleury will know." And then Lucas replied, "Be patient. I know." Smiley face. So, I mean, it's confirmation. I mean, more confirmation. I mean, we already had confirmation, but yeah, they're going to do an activation at the Olympics, it looks like. So, I mean, that's bullish. But if we go back to 2024 Olympics, they did an activation there too. And it didn't drive up price. It didn't do too much. There was some production for the stakers, but it was pretty minor. So it wasn't like a big deal. So is this a repeat of that where it's like another activation? Maybe, they're ramping it up, I would imagine, trying new things out. Seems pretty likely. Or is it something bigger, like a big reveal where they rebrand and they do all this stuff they talked about all at the same time? We'll have to see. Of course, I've been waiting. Literally, I started accumulating Block V and, diving down the rabbit hole back here in 2022 and been waiting this entire time for them to come out of stealth. And that'd be funny. They choose right now as we dump. It would be pretty unfortunate, but who knows? But yeah, bullish as ever on Block V. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, I think we've pretty much covered that covered that pretty well. But yeah, holding my Block V strong. Actually, got a little bit more the other day, like put in like $100. But they love painting charts to nature's hidden pattern, Fibonacci. Yeah, Fibonacci is huge. And the confluence is huge. When you have multiple things all converging at the same point, right? It's all a game of probabilities. So, three pretty big things all converging around that $60,000 level. So, and if you guys remember, back when I was saying I'm looking at that 50 SMA, if we break below it, then that's the first real big bearish sign for me. I was saying that right around here. But if you notice, they didn't just break below it a tiny bit. I mean, they dumped it way below. So it's like if you're waiting for that to like, oh, I'm gonna sell if it breaks below that, then it's like by the time you have that confirmation, I mean, they dumped it way below it. So the same thing could happen here where I'm waiting for that weekly close below 78,000 to be, like officially like max bearish pretty much. It's probably not going to close like right below it. It would probably close like way below it. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, we have a lot of confluence at that $60,000 level, which would be nice. And I'll get into a little bit into so what's the plan then, right? If this all flips bearish and we get devastated across crypto prices, what's the plan? I'll kind of touch on that a little bit as well. This precious metal action is keeping me hopeful we might see some rotation. Yeah, silver down. I was like, oof, I knew it was coming. Just yesterday, no, 2 days ago, I'll just say it. My uncle hit me up and was like, should I buy silver? Because of course, I've talked about silver, in my family for a long time. And I was like, dude, no, don't buy silver. Dude, are you crazy? So I don't know who the heck was buying silver up here, plebs. But yeah, that is a dump. Acting like a crypto right there. And really that's healthy. I mean, that was just getting a little ridiculous. But yeah, rotation would be good. It's funny, like when metals and stocks go up, crypto goes down, and when stocks and metals go down, crypto goes down. So it's like that's bear market activities right there. Where's the intro music we all love? I played it. Hopefully you guys can hear that. Using the golden ratio to usher in the golden age would be very fitting. Yeah, that's a good esoteric insight right there. And you know what I just realized? Oh my gosh. You know what I just realized? Oh, dude. We're live on YouTube. I totally thought this was supposed to be a Patreon live stream. I was wondering why there was so many comments. I was like, who are oh wow. All right, well, this is YouTube live stream, so I won't say some things, but yeah. Okay. That's interesting. Okay. I forgot to okay. What's up, CC and fam? Max FOMO in the building. Do you think Ethereum or Solana will be able to rival Block V for rewards? Or will this need to be on Block V? No, Ethereum and Solana are the layer ones. Those are just like, the settlement layer rails. And there needs to be an interface layer for all of the apps to be built on top of. and that's the layer 3. So if you go over to my YouTube real quick, or sorry, my X, I made a post right here. I said, "Do you see what I see?" And this is an article by Jack Forrestal, the Chief Product and Strategy Officer of Visa. And right there, he talks about the first is the technology layer, right? So that's kind of the Ethereum, the Canton, the Solana, whatever. Second, you have the reserve layer. I'm not exactly sure what that would be, but it says there must be trust in the value and stability of the medium of exchange. Regulated reserve-backed stablecoins offer a solution to this problem. And then third is the interface layer. So that is what I think BlockV would be. So there must be a ubiquitous interface layer that participants actively want to participate in. This layer must deliver trust, rules, standards, security, and meaningful value to participants on both sides of every transaction. It must scale to cover billions of endpoints. It must provide an easy and convenient mechanism for users to convert value to their fiat currency of choice. And we know BlockV's called themselves the interface layer forever. And we also know they're a layer 3. They have a layer 2. Layer 2s are overrated. It's just, but they have a layer 2 function, but the secret sauce is that layer 3. So Visa just happens to call, the interface layer, literally layer 3. So that's what I think is going on with that. But good question. Dang. Okay. Will my BlockV be okay in my cold wallet? Yeah, just never give your seed phrase away and do all the safety stuff. Bitcoin dropping to 60K will be the last crypto gift horse ever. That would be interesting. I'm planning to join. That'd be awesome, supervisor. You're pretty good at research. We'd love to have you. Did I say something that happened to help you realize something that's potential alpha for Patreon? You have to tell us now. No, I was just going to talk about my bear market plan, which also I guess for YouTube as well. But there's a couple, anyways. It just kind of killed I was like, oh wow. But yeah, my bear market plan. I don't know, man. But now I kind of lost my train of thought. It kind of threw me off. So if we look at, here's what I'll do. I'll go look at that setup that we had on total market cap was so juicy. This was like the chart we were looking at. This was total 3. So all of crypto minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. And we were looking at it when we were back in October. And my goodness, this was a perfect setup. You had the cup, you had the handle. It was, coming up against that previous high, looking like it wanted to break out. And I was like, guys, it's a probability game, but I'm basically placing a bet that this happens. This is what they call altcoin season. So, total 3 didn't even make new highs. So, this cycle was pretty trash. And so that setup failed, right? And I said, if this, they could rug us. And if they do, I'm going down with the ship. So, I'm not saying they're like rugging us like to zero, but it broke. This structure is broken. This looks pretty bad, guys. This does not look good. There's it's probably gonna go down quite a bit, at least from my opinion. I'm not a fortune teller, but this doesn't look good. This looks like a failed setup. And false breakouts have consequences. We've already faced a lot of them already, but I think the worst of it isn't over, personally. On a probability scale, it just doesn't seem like it's going to be turning around, like anytime immediately soon, which a lot of people see that as a gift. And, other people, it all depends on your perspective. But yeah, they didn't give us that setup. So it is what it is. They did what they did. Let's look at this. Total market cap excluding Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stablecoin. So basically the same chart. Yeah, it's pretty much the same chart. Breaking that long-term support there, failed cup and handle. Um, I mean, there's nothing bullish about this other than we might be able to get some cheap crypto here pretty soon. So, man, this chart is a little funky, but yeah, same thing with this is all of crypto minus the top 10, which Canton Network is creeping up, right? Every bear market, there's always that one outlier, maybe even a couple outliers. Sometimes there's two or three that, while the bear market's happening, everything's getting wrecked. They're just, pumping to Valhalla. I think Canton has a chance. It seems, it's playing out that way so far, but it's too early to really call. But Canton is doing pretty well. But anyways, this is all of crypto minus the top 10, also breaking, the long-term support line that I have drawn. I mean, you could draw this a couple ways. I mean, you could, if you really wanted to be, a little more conservative there as far as how deep it could go. But none of this really looks like bullish. I mean, and for those of you who were with me when we were doing those critical chatter episodes back, I want to say it was late 24, like our New Year's, Christmas time. I was saying whenever this top comes, the headlines are going to be bullish. You don't want to wait for bearish headlines. Like the headlines are going to be max bullish, and that's going to, so you can't really use the headlines to time at top. And then the bottom is going to be max bearish, right? That's what they did last time, right? The bottom, literally the best opportunity to buy crypto of the last 8 years. The bottom was FTX collapse, Luna collapse, all that stuff, right? So given that we're still seeing bullish headlines, it's all bullish and bullish. I mean, I don't know, man. This is it doesn't really feel like a bottom. I don't know. It's everything kind of feels weird. Something feels off. But all right, we'll keep it brief. That's my little TA update. And we'll talk soon, guys. Much love. Peace.